Hello and welcome to the Recursion Cafe. In today's game of Unmatched, we have myself on the left playing against Chris on the right. I am playing Daredevil, a solo 3-move fighter with a 22 card deck, who can blind boost when his hand gets low. On the right is Muldoon, who is a ranged 3-move fighter with 3 InGen workers. His trick is that he can place traps all around the map, and when someone steps on those traps, they have to stop moving, they take a damage, and Muldoon must draw 1 card. He has 8 of them, I believe. So we start off with Daredevil running in, getting up nice and close, Muldoon placing a trap and boxing himself in with workers. Him and his workers have the high ground, so they're able to shoot down into the street at Daredevil. We have a rending shot into a grappling hook. I think this is from a InGen worker. So 2 move effects. I move first, and then rending shot is going to move me afterwards because the defender resolves first. No damage is done. I will maneuver, and it looks like I run up next to the workers and just go through adversity, taking both of them out. I know that Muldoon can recur them, but it's just nice to clear some space first while you have a through adversity. So we have a they should all be destroyed into a grappling hook. That is a 5 into a 3, which means I'm able to free move. I will move myself into a trap just to clear it out because it doesn't cost me an action. I'll take another damage and give Muldoon a card draw, but it does put me right next to him. We are both at 14 health. I have done 0 damage, but it's looking okay so far. I'll run up and attack the InGen worker with a Devil of Hell's Kitchen, just so I can get some recursion going, and because I know Chris is unlikely to faint it. Muldoon places another trap. He's out of workers, but he's looking reasonably healthy so far. And I believe it might just be... oh no, it's a boost. I think it's just a double maneuver. He boosts with a remote detonation, which is a card that doesn't seem particularly apt in this case. I will also double maneuver. I think I checked Chris's hand and he's got 6 cards in hand, so that I know that he will have to burn some cards getting to me. There it is, a boost with a regroup. Is he going to attack? No, instead he's going to call for backup, and so he will place 3 traps and recall all of his defeated InGen workers. I will maneuver, and again I just body myself straight into a trap so I can get to Muldoon. And there's a Man with a Fear into a leap away. I have the option to blind boost. I will not, just because it's unlikely that I'll get any damage through. And then Muldoon is able to move Daredevil up to 5 spaces. I think in the end Chris decides just not to move me. And here comes another attack. So it is a second shot into a son of a boxer. I asked Chris politely if he'd like to boost it, and he declines, which would have meant that he would take 2 damage because he's standing right next to me. I thought it was an odd choice that he didn't move me 1 step away, but maybe he didn't account for that card. And there is a maneuver away. And I'm boxing in with traps. If I want to get to Muldoon, I have to go through the trap, and I think I just make the call that it seems like a good thing to do to keep the pressure up. I have a reasonably sized hand, so I think it's alright for me to continue to be aggressive. Here's another Devil of Hell's Kitchen into a leap away. No damage done, but I managed to recur the 3 cards that were left in my discard pile. And the leap away puts me 1 step away, I think, or several steps away, as a hedge against son of a boxer perhaps. So this InGen worker from the rooftops is going to fire down at Daredevil. It is a rending shot against a take a knee, first take a knee of the game. I will mill a feint, which is only a 1 heal, unfortunately, but that's life, I guess. And then the rending shot will move me further up onto the street. And so now I'm looking at a bit of a maze. To get to Muldoon, I have to walk through several traps and or workers. So Chris has done a really good job of zoning me off and placing traps on key choke points. Daredevil is just going to run up onto the rooftops and get nice and close. I think that's the best I can do at the time, and make sure I'm out of range of Muldoon. Being in range of a worker I think is necessary at this point. He's got most of the map covered. It is a rending shot into a grappling hook, another movement effect into a movement effect. I think I make the call again. It's an actionless trap trigger just to get some of those done. So I'll take it, and then rending shot moves me further back down the street. And throughout all of this, Chris has done a fantastic job of keeping Muldoon perfectly healthy. Here is a boost with a breather. Right up into Muldoon is a Man Without Fear into a feint. I think Chris thought that was going to be a Devil of Hell's Kitchen, hence the feint. Boosting in looks very aggressive there, so I can see why he thought that. Chris is crucially now out of traps, so that one placed behind me is the last one. It is a shooter into a Son of a Boxer, which is ideal, I think, for me. It is 2 damage to me, but also 2 damage to Muldoon, which is the first damage that I've actually put through to Muldoon. Chris has been doing a fantastic job of using traps and workers to buffer my attacks and defend with high values. At this point, Chris lines them up though, and I manage to, through adversity, 3 of his fighters. End up right next to him. Is he going to run? He is going to run and make use of his range and his traps. At this point, it's a lot of work to get to him. I think I had a 3 boost in hand. I could have reached Muldoon, but it just didn't seem worth it. I'll just step right outside of range, preparing for the next turn. And there is a boost and an attack from down street. I feint a regroup. So Chris Uno reversed me and drew out a feint from me with a regroup. I still think the game's pretty even. We're on 10 to 11 health. Looks like I double maneuver and just try to get close. Trying to play a patient game because ultimately I know Muldoon burns cards faster than I do. There is a rending shot into Son of a Boxer. Chris goes to take the damage, but no, I did not lose the combat, therefore Son of a Boxer doesn't trigger. Seems like a much more balanced version of Sherlock's counterpuncher. He'll move him back again. I'll run up because it was a 3 move and try and swing in at Muldoon. There's a Devil of Hell's Kitchen into I've hunted most things that can hunt you. So it means that no damage was done. However, I do get the recursion trigger, which is ultimately what I was looking for, to be honest. Muldoon takes a shot from the left. It is a feint into a They Should All Be Destroyed, which wasn't great on my end. There's 2 damage through, and the ability would not have triggered. But I think feint might have been the only defense card in my hand at the time. So at this point, I think Chris double checks his maneuver, puts himself in a really tight position on those rooftops, surrounded by traps on either side and a worker buffering from the right. So I will do what I have been doing the entire game and boost into that trap just to clear it, and then I maneuver again. It seems very odd, but I'm just trying to clear traps until there's a turn where I know I'll want to attack. As a tactical advance into a taken knee, I do mill a 2 boost value off the top of my deck, which means I do heal 2, which I think was sorely needed at the time. So now we're back to 9 health against 11. I've only actually done 3 damage to Muldoon so far. I've been busy clearing workers and traps, but I know that he's out of them now, so it makes the map a lot more accessible for me. I run into a trap, there we are, and go through adversity, giving Muldoon 1 more damage as well. And that's the last of the workers. I know he has 1 more call for backup. It's another shoot her into Son of a Boxer. Again, trying to make use of the fact that I'm standing right next to him as another 2 damage to us both. So 6 to 8 currently. There's the call for backup. He cannot play, well, he could place up to 3 traps, but I think instead Chris chooses to draw 2 cards and summon all of his InGen workers. At this point, it's notable that his deck is getting quite low. I Devil of Hell's Kitchen and Chris does call it correctly and feints it. Still 2 damage through though, so we're now even in health count. But I am surrounded. I'm technically pinned in this corner with 3 workers and the trap, and Muldoon himself blocking me in. So I maneuver and then just have to think about where I want to go. I ended up taking the trap. I think at this point, because Muldoon has to draw a card, that's why I made that decision, but I'm getting quite low on health, so it's making me a bit nervous. And as some of you might have noticed, I have not seen that many taken knees, so it's getting pretty tight. Chris boosts his second shot, so it puts 2 more damage into me. So it's not looking great, we've got 3 health left. Muldoon maneuvers, and Chris takes a moment just to think about all of this because the placement is quite important. It does look like the pack is hunting together across Soho, much like the Raptors, ironically. Just trying to box me into the corner there. I double maneuver because I know at this point I have more chance in exhaustion than Chris does. Chris boosts all of his workers and Muldoon in and pins me into the top and attacks with Muldoon. It is a They Should All Be Destroyed, a 4 into a 3, which is ideal for me. It is 1 damage through to me and 2 damage to someone next to me. I'll decide to punch the guy next to me. And at this point, Chris points out, oh, if you had a through adversity, that'd be great, wouldn't it? And of course, the odds are I've picked one up. So there we are. So at this point, it's worth noting the interaction. I played it, and then I realized, oh, but there's a trap underneath one of your workers, and so I don't think I can play that, and I go to take it back. However, Chris points out the interaction in that because you go through as much of the effect as possible, I can't stop on that space, so I don't resolve that bit, but I still do the damage, I still take the damage, and I carry on moving. So I am able to move through all of the workers and Muldoon and carry on because the game effect forced me through, which was ideal for me, to be honest. And so I'm stood right next to Muldoon, and I have a long think about this because I know that he has 4 health left and no deck. I could try and attack through, but that means I'm on 1 health. So if he swings back at me and I'm not able to defend it, that is bad. I have 3 cards in hand, so I decide to maneuver and then boost, crucially keeping 3 cards left in hand. So I know that Muldoon has 1 shot. He has to maneuver up to me and attack. And I know, because I kept 3 cards in hand, that I'm able to blind boost it. So it's a 4 into a 3, blind boosted with a 2, which means I don't take any damage. And I know that Muldoon will exhaust as soon as he maneuvers, so I just have to get out of range. The only blind boost of the game turned out to be a crucial one. It took a long time to get to that conclusion because we were actually discussing the kind of pros and cons of each option. But yes, in the end I maneuver up and out, and there is the game, because Muldoon maneuvers and goes to 0 health to 1 health against Daredevil. That is one of the tightest games I think I've ever played, but it was really enjoyable. Fighting Muldoon as a solo fighter kind of feels like a boss battle where you have to get through all the minions and all of the traps and everything. But yeah, excellent game, Chris. Thank you very much. Cheers for watching, everyone. Catch you next time.